All right. Good morning, good afternoon to everyone who are joining us from different places. Appreciate you all taking the time to join us today on yet another exciting presentation from eGrabber. And this time we're being joined by the Lipsy company, and we're going to present a webinar on using LinkedIn to build your commercial real estate business network. Okay, and let me quickly go on and show you who's on the panel today. We got Mike Lipsy, who's the president of the Lipsy company. We're also being joined in by Jordan Lipsy, founder at ML Jordan, and then he's also part of the Lipsy company. He's a partner in the Lipsy companies as well. And we also got Clinton Rosario, who is the product manager and chief software architect at eGrabber. And the voice that you're hearing, that's me, Rich Kumar. I've been a customer success manager for about 5 years, and I've worked with more than 1,000 customers and helping them get up and running on the tool. Mike, Jordan, Clinton, welcome aboard. And Mike, before I hand over the floor to you, I know that you have some good introduction to do for yourself, so I'll let you do that. Take over, Mike.
Well, again, this coming December will be my 41st year in commercial real estate. Many of you that might be on this call are clients of ours or prospects. Of all the strategic alliances that we've had, the one with eGrabber is the most important. And I don't know how long it's been, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. But not only do we think of eGrabber as a strategic partner, we think of them as one of our finest resources. I'm doing a program in Chicago a couple of years ago, a group of very good, very talented senior brokers, and one of the brokers shouts out, "Mike, who wins?" And I responded in a heartbeat, "The broker with the best database." And he looked back at me and says, "You're right." And so our philosophy for many, many years has been the broker with the best database is going to win. Another dear friend of mine gave me a sign that said, "The broker who dies with the most toys wins." And I took the sign, I took out the word toys, and I put contact management system. And you need to make sure you have the tools and the direction to build a quality database. And it's more important today than ever. And here's the reason why is because so many of our prospects come to our doorstep electronically. By being able to continue to identify and build a database, net new names each month. And the question that I used to get is, Mike, how big should our database be? How big should our CRM be? And I used to suggest, an individual broker should have a database of 750 to 1,000 contacts. Well, today, though, more and more brokers are working on teams. More and more brokers have a team member who is responsible for the contact management system. And I don't care which CRM you use. I don't care if you use ACT. I don't care if you use Salesforce. I don't care if you use Microsoft Dynamics. We do care that it integrates and works successfully with all the eGrabber products. But now, today, we want your database to be as big as possible. And the reason is many of the prospects who will come to your doorstep each day will come by an appropriate, sophisticated, tasteful electronic gifting campaign or an electronic touch campaign. You still need to call them. You still need to drop in. You still need to meet in association meetings. You still need to make presentations in their conference room. But there's so many ways to build business and stay in touch with prospects electronically. So I know that Clinton and Jordan and Rich have developed a wonderful program for you. And so as I mentioned to Rich, if you have questions at the early part of the program of me, and that's as a consultant and as a trainer, I say this, I think it's accurate. Our firm probably trains more commercial practitioners, that's brokers, that's mortgage bankers, that's leasing agents, that's capital market brokers than maybe any other firm in the country. And, we talk about negotiating and presentations and business development and selling by phone, so we cover a number of topics. So if you have any general questions of me, and Rich, just shout out and just say, "Mike, there's a question for you," I'll be glad to answer it. And then if there are no questions, I'm going to turn it over to three of the most capable people I know that probably know more collectively about building databases, the right database, and then even the discussion about how is the best way to stay in touch with them electronically. So, Rich, Are there any questions for me?
No, not right now at this point of time, Mike. I know you are traveling and you're joining us on the phone. So people, if you do have any questions for Mike, please put them on your questions box now, and I'll ask those questions over to Mike, and he can answer them. And since he's traveling, he may not be available through the entire presentation here for all 30 minutes. So if you do have any questions, now would be the right time to just open up your chat boxes and put in your questions, or raise your hand, and then perhaps I could just ask your questions on your behalf to Mike. Okay,
Well, Rich, and here's the good news. Jordan is on the call, so typically when I get a question as it relates to which database, which target market, I typically sit down with Jordan, and he gives me the counsel. So you've got the right guy on the phone to answer the question. But before I turn it over to you guys, any questions yet? And if not, Rich, it's all yours.
All right. I see no questions on the questions box, and I see no hands raised as well. So I presume it's going to be coming up towards the end of the presentation or more as we go towards the webinar. Okay. So yes, I'm going to turn over the floor to Jordan. Jordan will be presenting some very good and useful stuff, and he'll giving in hands-on approach as to what they're doing. So the floor is all yours, Jordan. Take it away.
Okay, thank you. If you guys could go to the next slide. Okay, very good. This is our identifying emerging markets. So this is a presentation that Mike put together, and it's kind of just getting an understanding and grasp of who the clients you're actually trying to go after. So let's say you are a landlord rep or a tenant rep broker. You need to understand who the likely prospect is to satisfy the requirement that your client's going to have. So you want to fit the way that you go after prospecting to the background, all right? And then you want to identify the growth industries, so highest paid, fastest growing, and market specific. And if you go to the next slide, there's a fabulous resource that Mike found, and it's called CareerOneStop.com. And what CareerOneStop.com does is it publishes information on the fastest growing industries in the United States. So for example, if you look up at the top, it's management, scientific, and technical consulting services. So this, in 2008, is going to tell you what their revenue was as a whole. And then if you look to 2018, you see the growth. And then you see the percentage change. So it's going to rank these categories in these industries by how quickly they're going to change and grow. So obviously, if you're looking at this list, you're going to want to go after the ones that are, higher on this list. They're going to have more opportunity. Maybe go to the next slide, please. All right, and this is the highest paying industry. The previous slide was the fastest growing. This is the highest paying. So not only, if you coordinate with the previous slide, these are the industries that are growing fast. You can coordinate to this slide, which is paying industries, and you can kind of figure out and grasp the concept of not only who's growing the fastest, but who's paying their employees the most amount of money. Putting these two characteristics together, you can identify and group a list that would be very beneficial to go after. Next slide, please. All right, so selecting the market. So you want to validate through additional research. You want to find the markets that are not aggressively being pursued. It's easy to say these are the top 10 markets, and I'm going to go after number 1, number 2, and number 3. But you need to ask yourself a question. How aggressive are these markets being chased after? You do not want to go after the markets that everyone, all of the brokers in your submarket are going after. You want to go after the low-hanging fruit. You want to go after the groups that have potential and are more of an untapped resource. And then you want to determine the depth. So let's say you don't want to go after a group or an industry that is very thin. You want to go after an industry that is very deep in the contact database. So you have multiple people, multiple contacts to go after. Then you want to identify your logical process, and you want to fit that to your team. So for example, if you're on a 3-person team, you have a marketing coordinator, and you have an associate broker, and you have a senior broker, your capability is going to expand to a larger degree than a smaller shop. So for example, the marketing coordinator should be going after this specific group, and they should be sending the email. The associate broker should be making the call, and then the senior broker should be making the calls to actual decision makers and meeting with them on a regular basis. Mike said right here, growth industries, the sweet spot is somewhere between 250 and 500 prospects. So in a perfect world, you wouldn't be going after a specific industry if they had less than 250 prospects. Next slide. Next slide, please. Thank you. This is from a national standpoint. The previous ones that we looked at were more market specific. So at careerOneStop.com, it breaks it down into two categories. One, looking at things as a whole from a national standpoint, and two, breaking it down to be market specific. So this is just an example of the fastest growing industries from a national standpoint. All right, if you go to the next slide, please. Next slide, please. And again, Mike, he is on LinkedIn. Mike, are you still on the call by chance? Hello?
No, I don't think he's on the call, Jordan.
Okay, so Mike dropped off on the call, but Mike is on LinkedIn. I'm also on LinkedIn at Jordan Lipsey, and we would strongly recommend that you follow us, not only on LinkedIn, but on Twitter and Facebook, Google+, and YouTube. We make updates regularly, top strategies, video clips to our YouTube channel. So, you know, follow us and we'll follow you back. Next slide. So this is the Lipsey Company homepage. We've actually made some updates from this slide right here, but you know, it has all of our offerings, whether it be our training items, our video training series, our corporate solutions, and a very popular survey that we do every year, which is the Lipsey Company Top Brand Survey, where we rank the top 25 commercial real estate firms. Next slide. A fabulous resource that we've been using for quite some time is our video training library. Obviously, the best option is to be able to bring Mike in-house or to be able to see him live. But the second best thing is to actually be able to view these modules, which are downloadable. So you purchase them from our website, you download the module, and you can watch them instantly from either your PC, laptop, iPhone, iPad, or watch them as a collective group in your conference room. Next slide. And this is just the training menu. So you can reach this from our homepage. It says 2014 training menu, and you can see all the topics that Mike goes through. Next slide.
All right. This is, you know, the last slide, Jordan, about your company. So if you'd want to, you know, specific something to say about, you know, anything else, I'd welcome you to do that, or else we could hand over the floor to Clinton, and then he can take over.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, perfect. So thanks so much, Mike and Jordan, for this exciting presentation. I'm going to hand over the floor to Clinton. Clinton, I'm going to change you to be the presenter right now, and you can take this away.
Thank you very much, Rich. And Jordan, thank you for being here on the call. Great. It's been great to have you as partners, the Lipsey Company, over all these years. Okay, it's been great to write software for you guys and make things work for you guys. I'm glad we helped you. We help you and your clients build businesses. That's what we love doing. Thank you. Right. So. Welcome everybody. So this webinar is all about how to build your business on LinkedIn, how to build your commercial real estate network on LinkedIn. So what I'm going to share with you today is 7 simple tips on how you can do this. And these tips, they're coming from some of the best LinkedIn experts out there, and a few of them you're seeing on screen right now. Now, as a company, we've partnered with a lot of experts out there. We've partnered with the Lipsey Group, and they're into commercial real estate. And there are a lot of experts on LinkedIn and how to leverage LinkedIn for your business, how to grow LinkedIn for your business. And we've partnered with them. We participate in their classes, hundreds of hours of classes, and we've done lots of webinars with them. You can find some of those webinars free on our eGrabber website. egrabber.com/webinar. Fantastic training material. But what I've done is I've gone through them and picked 7 simple tips which you can use to grow your network on LinkedIn. 7 tips that you can use in a few minutes, and you can start getting results from them as quick as a few minutes from now, right? So on with that, going on to the first tip, you put LinkedIn on your mobile phone, on your smartphone. Okay. Now this tip comes from a very tech-savvy expert, and the problem with LinkedIn is it's another thing that you have to monitor, that you have to interact with. And if you're on the move, if you're visiting clients, then one of the best things for you to do is just put the LinkedIn app on your mobile, on your smartphone. It's got some great features out there. So as you're moving on, if you're waiting for something, if you're waiting for lunch, or if you're in between meetings, you can jump over there and make good use of it. I've seen a lot of friends myself, a lot of business people, they create their LinkedIn profile and it just lies there collecting dust because they don't have time to visit it and take a look at it. But if you put the app on your phone, you're well in your way to making things easy for yourself and to start interacting with LinkedIn. Very handy. The second important tip, and this one tip is common to is preached by 90% of the LinkedIn experts that we speak with. Your LinkedIn profile is not your resume. I repeat that. It's your sales pitch and it's not your resume. So you want to tailor your LinkedIn profile that when your prospect finds you, the moment they start reading it out, they should know what you give, what value you provide. Take a look at Greg's profile over here. Look at the top portion, right under his name, right next to his photo. He's given keywords over there which helps him to be found. He says, I do property condition assessment, and a whole bunch of other keywords, and he separated that. Now that is what LinkedIn calls the headline. That headline is very critical, it's very important for you to be found by your prospects. Because hey, the next generation of people who are buying are going to check you out on LinkedIn. So if you have a fantastic LinkedIn profile, then that's great, because then they're going to learn about you and they're going to learn what's the best way to approach you, what you're going to do for them. So you need to be coming up on a LinkedIn search. Okay, and I'll talk a little about that later. So figure out for your business what are the keywords that your prospects are going to search for when they're looking for you, and put those in the LinkedIn headline. A common mistake that many people make is they put their title and their company on their LinkedIn headline. So it might read like CEO at abc.com or XYZ Incorporated. Don't let that happen to you. Change that. Your title really doesn't matter. Your company really doesn't matter on your LinkedIn headline. You want that to have the keywords which your prospects use. Very important. Fix that immediately if you have not done that already. Then look down at the summary at the bottom of the screen. You see the second red arrow. So Greg is talking about what we do for our clients. He says we save our clients from getting into problem buildings, etc., etc. Fantastic. I know why I would contact Greg. He puts it up right there, right in the first paragraph or the second paragraph. That's what you need to do. A common mistake that people make is they say, hey, I joined this company, I worked up my way here, and then I moved up to this other company. Well, that's a resume, but LinkedIn is not a place for resume. LinkedIn is a place for business. So put your best sales pitch over here. And if you have business development people in your company, okay, make sure all of them do this. Okay, this is the one investment that you should make today. Make the change today. It's not going to take you more than 15 minutes to do it. It's not going to take your sales team more than 15 minutes to do it. So go ahead and put it down. Make everyone turn their profile into a sales pitch. Oh, and if you need to read more about how you can do this, here's a simple resource that I've found very useful. It gives you 7 tips that you can use, very neatly written. You can use a URL on the left-hand side. It's bit.ly/profile for sales. Type that in. I'm going to leave that on screen for a minute for you to take it down. Bookmark it, go through it. A very simple resource. It's free, and that's just a sample of the page on the right-hand side. So it's bit.ly/profile for sales. Have a look at that when you have time. The third tip, LinkedIn has many sections, okay? And if you're in commercial real estate, the one section which is going to do you the best is the portfolio section, because there you can put photos of whatever you're doing, of your projects, whatever. Please use that to the biggest extent possible, okay? Fill in as many of the sections as you can. LinkedIn has a nice wizard which prompts you to fill in as many things as you can. So just follow it, spend some time, and fill those things in. It might take you an hour to go through the whole thing, but it's a one-time investment. An important thing is, if you're typing in something in the summary and the experience, a good tip is to write that down in a Word document first, because you wouldn't want spelling mistakes ruining your LinkedIn profile. So use Words, the Microsoft Words spell checker and grammar checker, and then copy paste that in to the various sections of LinkedIn. Moving on, tip 4. Now that you've set up your LinkedIn profile, you want to grow your network and be found. So join as many large groups as possible. Why would you do that? Why would you want to join large groups? And if you haven't learned about LinkedIn groups, well, it's a good time to start. Well, let me look at one of my colleagues over here. So he's got about 630 connections. He's connected to only 630 people. But because of the kind of groups he's joined, he has access to 19 million people. Now, how did he get that leverage? How can he possibly be connected to so many people? But guess what? There is a LinkedIn group search feature which you can find very easily at the top. It's a blue button in the center of your screen. So once you log into your LinkedIn, you can find that there. Look for a group, and this is a discussion group. Typically, it'll have people who are gathered around a certain interest. Now, if I search for real estate, look at that. There are 400,000 members in that group. Now, if you're looking for new clients, think of it. Wouldn't your competitors also be part of this real estate group? Well, if you join this group, what happens is you get access to somebody else's connections and somebody else's connections and somebody else's connections. So you suddenly get leverage to your whole industry. You can jump into a whole ecosystem of connections just by joining a relevant group. And right now I've shown you a real estate group, but you can look at your specialty. For example, if you're in the Florida area, and if there are a set of Florida purchasing managers or Florida residents group, or a group which suits you, jump in, join the group. Even if it's not too many people, even if it's just about 10,000 people, you never know. Those might be your clients. Those might be your customers. And if you're part of that network, your profile is going to show up when they search for, commercial real estate brokers. So go join a group. This is going to take you 5 minutes. Go do a search for a group, hit the join button on the right hand side. It takes nothing more than 5 minutes to find and join these groups. Do that as soon as this webinar is over. In fact, we might be done before the hour is over, so you have some extra time. Go ahead and implement some of these tips. Make a difference to your business right now. Another good tip to grow network far beyond the total number of connections that you have is to search for what they call LinkedIn open networkers. Now, these open networkers are easy to find. You can type in, like I have typed in the search box, LinkedIn Open Networker. Now, they also put the word LION on their profile. As you see the first result, he says he's a sales consultant at Oracle, LION. Now, that means LinkedIn Open Networker. Now, what these people do is they have extremely big networks. Okay, and why is it important to get connected to someone with an extremely big network? Because if you're connected to Dwayne, for example, you can get access to his connections. And if he's got 30,000 connections, for example, and that's a lot of people you can quickly search and get access to. So a nice thing about a LinkedIn Open Networker is they always accept connections. If you send them a connection request, they'll always say yes. Nice to meet you. Feel free to use my connections. Okay, so please go and connect to a few people. Take maybe about a couple of minutes a week, maybe. Find somebody who's in the industry you're targeting, who's in the vertical you're targeting, who's a LinkedIn Open Networker. Connect to them. You never know where that takes you. Tip 6 of the 7 tips that I have to share today is how to search beyond LinkedIn. Now, what do I mean search beyond LinkedIn? Well, as I said before, the fact of LinkedIn, okay, and of most of the social networks is you only see a limited number of contacts. There are about 300 million people on LinkedIn. But guess what? You cannot search all 300 million people on LinkedIn. And your customer might just be out of your reach. Okay? So why is it built that way? Well, that's the way social networks are architected, designed. So well, that's the software, that's the technology. So are there ways to get around it? If you're not using the LinkedIn Advanced Search by now, okay, you should start using that. But even with the LinkedIn's inbuilt search, you cannot reach a certain set of people. Now, how do you get around that? Is there a way outside of LinkedIn? Is there a way of prospecting outside of LinkedIn and getting connected to the people who you need to get connected? Well, yes. Good news is some of the experts have some of these techniques, and this is one of such techniques. Now, I'm sharing with you a URL, and if you open that URL, okay, in a browser, this is what it's going to show. It's actually a Google search, okay, with a funny set of Google keywords typed into the search box. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of those intricate-looking Google commands, but what I want to draw your attention to is the results at the bottom. Did you notice that all of these are LinkedIn profiles? And guess what? I'm not even connected to anybody who's showing up over there. What this means is you can reach out far beyond your network, more than your 600, 500,000 connections, into the 300 million connections and get to whoever you like to get to. Now, how can you use this for your prospecting? Take the URL which I've given you, and I'll show you that URL again in a short while, and open that up. And as soon as you open it up, type in your keywords at the starting of the string. Leave those weird-looking commands over there and type in whatever you're looking for at the start of the text box. Right now, I was looking for sales VPs in Orlando, and that's what I typed in. And look at the bottom over there. Look at the results. Angela, the VP of Sales and Marketing in Orlando, and I can search for pretty much whoever I like. I can search for whoever I think is my target market. And you'd be surprised with the results. There'll be people who you've never even met before. And once you're here, you can click on the link, you can click on the search result, and this is prospecting gold. Because now you can send them a request, now you can get connected to them and try doing business with them. Moving on, oh, by the way, that's the link again at the bottom in case you want to use that link for the search. It's bit.ly/search-beyond-LinkedIn. Remember to take down the alphabets correctly because the case of the alphabets matter. So type in a big S, capital S, a capital B, and a capital L. I'm going to leave that on for a few seconds so you can take it down. Type it down in your browser. Bookmark the link. Very useful. Last tip, once you have your profile set up and you've grown your network, how do you connect and how do you leverage this into sales dollars? Now, here are a few tips from a lot of LinkedIn experts. They recommend that you have a prospecting plan. Okay, and a few of these details are from some of the best in the industry. So what you can do is, here's a sample prospecting plan. Okay, it's a formula to start with, and you can modify it like the way you like it. Most of the successful salespeople I've known, they have a cold call follow-up plan. They cold call their prospect, and then 2 days later, leave them a voicemail, they send them a brochure, then they proceed from there. So this is the age of social media. So the best way to use social media is to take your existing prospecting plan and extend it so that it becomes more effective. Don't drop your existing prospecting plan and then try to replace it with social media. That's one of the worst things to do. Take whatever you have and see how you can improve it with social media. That's the best way to customize things to get more results. So how does this sample prospecting touch plan work? Well, let's assume the red text in the center, the D-Day call, that's the real call that you want to make. That's the phone call that you want to make to your prospect. So 3 days before that, what you can do is you can find your prospect's profile on LinkedIn and open it, click it, read about them. Now when that happens, I don't know if you noticed, if somebody views your profile, you get a little alert in the top of your LinkedIn saying, hey, this person just visited your profile. Okay, so what you need to do is when you visit your prospect's profile 3 days before, you're leaving a little note to your prospect that, hey, I just had a look at your profile. And that's going to leave a little note in their head. They're going to remember your name. They're going to see your name. Even if it's for a split second, they're going to see your name. So when you actually call them up, that's fantastic because they'll remember your name. They'll probably remember your face. That means they'll be able to connect with you better. One day before you actually do the call, send a LinkedIn invite. And beware, don't send the default LinkedIn invite which says, hi, I'd like to connect with you on LinkedIn. Don't do that. Take a minute, read their profile, and write something. Write a personal note, couple of lines. That's all it takes. Hi, I'd like to connect with you on LinkedIn because you're an expert in the area of blah, blah, blah. Hi, I noticed that you're opening an office in the Bay Area. I'm touching base with you to see if you need any help. Write something very personal and send that invite along. The next day, give them a call. Also, follow up the call with an email. And the email is very essential because if you reach a voicemail, okay, and most of the times, 80% of the calls that my sales team makes, they reach voicemail. So I'm pretty sure that you have the same type of issues out there. So send an email immediately, stating why you'd like to call them, why you'd like to speak with them, and move on from there. And if you're wondering how to get an email address from a LinkedIn profile, then we have a tool. eGrab has a tool called the Account Researcher, which can help you get that. Okay, I'll talk about that in a minute. But before that, once you've finished sending that call, once you've finished doing the voicemail and the email, do follow up with the nurture program. Visit their profile 1 week from now. Share something with them. Mention them in a comment. If they get promotion, if they get a new endorsement, congratulate them. Say happy birthday. Get introduced to them. Use your LinkedIn features, okay, and dance around them, so to speak, and then you should be able to convert your network into good prospecting dollars. Now, all this, visiting the prospect's profile, sending an invite, sharing or mentioning them, it only takes a couple of minutes per prospect. Spend that couple of those minutes, invest in it, and I'm pretty sure you'll be able to leverage this massive social network to your advantage. So how do you take a name in a company from anywhere and find an email address? Well, that's part of the account researcher software that we have. Now this is fantastic because on a LinkedIn, if you haven't connected with your prospect, you will never know their email address because LinkedIn will not share it with you. So if you know a name in a company, you type into the account researcher software that we have, and you press a button, it's called a find missing button, and it gives you, it finds the email address, the phone number, and any social information about that person, physical address, everything, and puts it in a nice business card for you. Now this software is fantastic because it leverages the power of the open internet to get all this information for you. And you'd be surprised, I know some people are really scared, and the amount of information that this thing can find and put it for you, put it in front of you. Very powerful. You build a full business card in a few seconds. Okay. So the tool, besides getting an email and a phone number of anybody, it can find decision makers for you at any company that you can put in. And besides that, it gives you some insightful details that you can use when you talk to people, when you pick up the phone. A very highly useful tool for inside sales, for your sales, and it's at a very affordable price. Okay, that's what it does. And I can tell you one thing. If you're on the call today, because you've come for this Mike Lipsy's webinar, if you tell us a time and a date, if you type in your GoToMeeting chat box, or you send an email to richard@egrabber.com, and if you'd like to have a look at the tool, if you send that GoToMeeting invite or that email, we'll remember you did that. We'll remember you've attended this webinar, and you can have a huge discount on any one of the eGrabber products, either the account researcher, which gives you an email address and a phone number, given any name and company, okay, or any of the other product line that we have, okay, to grow your business. We'll remember that you came to this webinar. Just type in a time and a date, and our sales experts will get back to you. Okay, send an email to rich@egrabber.com if you need to. Well, that's it from my side, and Rich, the floor is back to you, and you can take it on from here.
All right, thank you so much, Clinton. It was nice that you and Jordan were able to pitch in today and then discuss more about the tool, and then Jordan was very kind enough to give some good insights about the source. So here's what we're going to offer today for all of you who have attended this webinar. We're going to offer you a fully functional 7-day trial, and I'll be sending you an email with the link to download the trial, and then it would have the link to download it, and then you could you'll also receive a complimentary key that you could use along with the trial. And please allow me about a couple of hours to send that emails out to you after the webinar, but you should be able to hear from me by the end of the day, and you should have those emails in your inboxes, and it'll help you to evaluate the tool if you need to. Okay, so if you'd want to schedule a personal demo, again, please use the questions box. And then I'd be happy to schedule that for you. You can also send an email to me at rich@egrabber.com with a specific time that you're interested to schedule a demo, and we'll have one of our experts call you, and we could schedule a demo with you, and we could make sure that you find the right tool for your business. Okay. So I'm going to flip over to the other slide and then put in my contact information on screen for you. So just in case you need to reach out to me, there's the phone number that you could call me as well, or you can also email me at rich@egrabber.com, and we'll be happy to connect with you. And we also love to hear feedback, so if you do have any feedback about the session, if you'd want to share some feedback, if you want to know something more about the tools, please let us know. Again, please reach out to my email or the phone number, and we will be happy to answer anything that you need. All right. So we're going to now take some questions for Jordan and for Clinton alike. So if you do have any questions, please raise your hand or put it on your questions box, and then I'll make sure that your questions are answered. Jordan, here's a question for you already. Can you mention the name of the website again from which you got the data that you shared initially? Is it careerone.com?
Career1stop.com.
Can you spell it out for me, please? Let me put it on
Yeah,
Q's.
sure. It's careerone.stop.com.
Okay.
Career1stop.com.
Career1stop.com. All right, perfect, perfect. So I'm going to send that over to everyone now on the chat, which Jordan got the info. Okay, so you need to put it all to all right? Okay, thanks for that. I just, sent across that message to everyone, so everyone has that. I don't see any specific questions for you, Jordan, or for Clinton alike. Okay, do you want to share something before we wind up? Anything interesting that you've come across, Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to just say thank you to Clinton. A lot of that stuff was really helpful, especially the header on the LinkedIn profile. I actually updated mine while the call was going on. So that made a lot of sense to me. So thank you for that tip.
All right.
Welcome, Jordan.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, I was doing the same thing as well, and I just realized, okay, some of the information on my LinkedIn was also, not aligned, and I was just doing the same stuff as well. Okay, Clinton, here's a question for you that just popped up. What is the best CRM that works with eGrabber and LinkedIn?
That's a tricky question because the CRM, don't worry about whether the CRM works with eGrabber or LinkedIn. Worry about whether the CRM works for you. So I know a lot of real estate agents who work with ACT, and a lot of them have lighter versions of Salesforce. Okay, so yeah, you can give those a try.
All right. Yeah, and I've had the same question before too when I do those training sessions, Clinton. Okay, and I always recommend the same thing. Okay, don't go for what eGrabber is compatible with. Go for what you feel is necessary for your business. And if eGrabber is not compatible, no worries. We do have ways and means of exporting the information to Excel spreadsheets and CSV files, and then you can most easily import that data into any CRM that you want. So that's what I recommend to people when I'm on calls as well. All right. So Jordan, I know that you and Mike have used many of our eGrabber tools before. So which one do you personally like? And if I ask you to recommend a tool for real estate people, which tool would you recommend?
Well, I mean, they're all great. A tool that we've been using for a very long time is ListGrabber. We recommend that product all the time. The listing company has an enormous database, so does Mount Jordan, and those databases have been built using ListGrabber.
Okay.
So if you're interested in building a database, if you're interested in building a database of a large size, you definitely want to implement ListGrabber.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I quite agree with you. And then you can also go to the following web page that I'm going to put it in. Okay, on your chats, and you can go ahead and look at the more recent webinars. Okay, that we did along with other people. So let me share that with you.
And you'll be seeing that on screen right now. And
oh yeah.
These are some of the webinars of LinkedIn experts that we have had over the past year. And all these are free webinars. They give fantastic tips. And all these guys teach people. They have their own programs where they charge thousands of dollars for people to attend. And all this is available on the eGrabber web page. So invest an hour of your time, 1 hour every week towards a weekend if you like. See how you can improve your business on LinkedIn. So some of these are very useful tips, just like 7 tips that I've shared over here. Take a look at some of these webinars.
Absolutely, and I would second that, and most certainly recommend that as well, because these are some of the most important people and then premium people who have been working with eGrabber before, and some of the content you'd be surprised to know how important these contents are to develop your business and to use LinkedIn more effectively. So I would most certainly recommend you to do that as well, and I do that to to people who I train as well. Okay, so every time I do a training, I point them to the website and then ask them to go and take a look at the website, and that there's going to be at least useful information, okay, that anyone can use. Okay, whether you are in recruiting business, whether you are in inside sales, whether you are in in the real estate, there's something for everyone there. So I'd most certainly recommend you to do that. All right, let me quickly jump onto the questions and see if we have something else there. I don't see any questions coming up, and I don't see any hands raised. So I think, okay, we can end this now. All right, so if you do have any other questions for me, I'm going to leave my contact information slide once again for you on screen. So you can reach me at rich@egrabber.com or call me at 408-516-4566. And we'll be happy to take it up. All right, that's about it for us today. And thank you so much, Jordan. Thank you so much, Clinton, for sharing all those valuable insights. Jordan, we most certainly look forward to doing more of these. And Clinton, thanks again for all the efforts. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Have a nice day.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.